we go. All right, recording. Self comfortable. I'll see you in a little while. It is the first words that cement the link. At these stages, my medium always feels a little bit involved at the beginning, as he becomes aware of the words as they begin to flow into mind. And today, we are endeavoring to push him aside just a little more. To allow us full control and to be here in our entirety. So today we have 3 communicators for you. And in a moment, I will ask you for any questions, or have you had any observations regarding our exercises that we have been doing for the last few weeks. But before we do, as we did last week, I need to allow another to come through to give a message. But I will return in a moment. Yet again, I've got to give a message. And I've got to go to Charlotte again in Denmark. Sorry, everybody. But really, if you listen to this message yourself, it's actually very relevant to everybody else. It ain't just for her. It's for all of you. And it's really about the way you connect with spirit, and the way spirit can be felt, and the way you can get bodily sensations to know that you've linked in all right. And you know where you are. As in, you know, you're with us. So anyway, listen up. All right, Charlotte, you're in Denmark, love. And we said we'd come back to you with another message regarding your progress and development. You've been sitting in the power and sitting feeling love, and you've felt love build within you. You need to build it even stronger. It is the connection of love which proves the connection of spirit. You see, it's love that brings everything together. Love's like an elastic band and then a bit of glue that sticks you. And in building the love, you'll find that there is a feeling of richness within you. And that feeling of richness, the feeling of love, as I've said, it is us. Now, you should be fully embodying this feeling, not just saying in your head. You've got to fully embody it to the point where you could feel the emotion stir. It may even come to the point of bringing up a tear or two, you know, when you're fully there. That don't matter. And when that feeling of love builds to such an extent, let the words then be said. I am going to be dropping little coins into your head, darling. And when I do, you must utter them. Say them out loud. But it'll only come through for you when you feel that love building. And then you are talking about it or whatever's being given. Now, this is going to connect very well to the talk that's coming in a minute, so that you could actually feel the connection of everything. There is a reason for this, and the reason for the way this works, but I ain't going to preempt anything. He's going to talk about it a little later. So this is all very much connected together. Build the love of love, and then let it all build to such an extent internally that it fills you up. The words will be coming into your mind, and say them. And then have an aim at who you're aiming the words at when you start to feel it. So find yourself a partner, Charlotte, and then we can work with you. All right, love. See you later. So over the last few weeks, we have undertaken a series of exercises in our little challenge that we have. We have looked at meditation, we've looked at reflection, and we've looked at different levels according to where you are. Working with guided meditations, working with mantras, and, as I have said, working with reflection. We have also undertaken some exercises to help you to remember the qualities of spirit, to bring you back to your core essence. If we said love was your core essence, then it is important to be reminded of it. And last week we said some people are very head-driven and some people are very heart-driven. Each person will have both, but often one prevails. It does not mean that head is wrong and heart is right. It may be right for you, but it may not be right for everybody. The ideal is to have head and heart in balance. So your left side of your brain, if you wish to use this terminology, and your right side of your brain are in agreement. If you would like it more scientific, then wave and particle match. Now, the exercise last week was to be aware of what part of your brain or heart you use, to recognize the time that the heart is answering a question or the head. In other talks, I have used the 5 levels of speech. And in this talk, we are talking about the 5 veils, or 5 parts to the veil. The 5 etheric bodies, if you wish. So, what questions do you have? Or what did you observe about yourself when doing these exercises? Do we have a question?
Yes, I believe we have a question from Jane.
Ignatius, with these 5 veils or qualities, am I correct in feeling that whichever one you choose, as you thin that veil and so on, you're actually getting all 5 qualities anyway?
Are you talking about the 5 words or?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
as opposed to the 5 veils.
All right. Okay.
Now,
The 5 qualities.
in essence, there is one of those words which will take you beyond the other. And I will, let me correct that. That will be referred to later in the talk. It is a subtle difference, but it is that difference that will take you beyond where you are. The qualities are in essence the same. Truth and love and awareness, peace and joy are in essence the same and come manifested out of the Creator. Again, this will become clearer during the talk in a moment. And
Thank
I
you.
wish to slightly avoid the question so not to preempt. But you will find if there is peace in your heart, love will be there also. If there's love in your heart, then you cannot be anything but joyous.
Mm.
And of course, then, if you are joyous, that is your true nature. Now, you may think love in your heart, but sometimes, on some occasion, you can be very loving, but also feel sad, or maybe other emotions. In this case, when there is love and, let us say, sadness or grief, there is an attempt from the physical world to place something on top of the love. So, for example, you can love something unconditionally, but at times you may think you love it conditionally. For example, on the passing of a friend or a relative. If there is grief in your heart with the love, there is an attachment to the body of the other person. The amount of grief is in direct proportion to the belief in the body. If you did not believe in the body, then nothing has been lost. If nothing has been lost, then where is the grief? Now, the human world will very distinctly feel grief because they believe in the human world. So it is a natural byproduct for your world, grief. It is not a product of our world. In essence, the grief is an attachment, as I have said, to a body. It could be to an asset. It could be to a set of circumstances you want to control. This, of course, then is conditional. And when love is conditional, it is not pure. Because love is unconditional. Now, unconditionality, in essence, is the bonding of oneness. Unconditional means unchanging, unaffected. So the love between one person and another is unaffected. If it is unchanging, then it exists through the body and after the body, because there is no change. So if there is unconditionality and no change, then everything is the same. Now, interestingly, I will stop that answer there, but interestingly, this topic of love and the way it affects relationships and connection to others is being discussed in my medium's other group. Regarding what is love? Where is love? How do we find it, use it, and keep it within our hearts? I trust I have answered your question, Jane.
Thank you, Ignatius. Yes.
Is there another?
Thank you for that, Jane. Yes, we do have one from Joy.
Thank you, Ignatius. And I'm going to try to explain this. As we go through grief, as we love one another, on a soul level, I'm going to say a soul versus a spirit level, can a soul become fragmented like some people say? Or does the soul still stay as one?
It is important here to see the difference in the definition between soul and spirit. Soul is the individual aspect of spirit. And this is the definition I use. You may find other definitions with others. So soul thinks that it is an individual spirit. Spirit knows that it is a unified existence. So soul's role is to manifest through bodies, have experiences, learn to become spirit. So soul will evolve through lifetimes. It will experience good, bad, happy, sad. It'll experience different jobs and careers. It will manifest more and more in different forms. So to begin with, a soul may manage just one form and one existence. Let us say between 50 years it was sailor or nurse. As the soul continues to evolve and over many lifetimes, it takes on more consecutive existences. So let us say within 50 years it may be both a soldier, a nurse, maybe a teacher, maybe an accountant or some roles. And I use those job titles only to distinguish differences. There are many other aspects. So soul, let us say, on its early evolvement and connecting through to the physical world, will have one existence to work with. As it evolves throughout, it will have many more existences at the same time. When it finally becomes aware and understands that it is spirit, it has every existence. So the act of thinking that it is fragmented can either be the internal realm of the person thinking their mind is discoordinated. It can be the soul aspect, also understanding many other lifetimes at the same time. So you may be living, for example, you may be living both within one country and another country, one as a male, one as a female, and then another country maybe as another thing entirely. It is often the case. And in part, this means that people can get an awareness of elsewhere. So a soul may experience, let us say, 3 lifetimes at the same time, or 3 incarnations. Each incarnation is being managed, if you wish, through the soul. And the soul then will learn from each of them, but maybe in different ways. Now, when you walk through your world, it is incredibly unusual, very, very rare, that you will bump into yourself, that you meet another aspect of yourself. So do not think that this is a description of soul mates, the unity of two, or whatever words you wish, but there is extremely unusual. Of course, it has happened, but it's almost non-existent, because what is the point? So I believe I have answered your question, but maybe given you another 100 questions in your mind.
Thank you. Yes.
It is an interesting topic, isn't it? I'm sure you've never considered that the soul manifests more than once at the same time.
That was new to me. Yes.
But if you think about this, if the soul evolution is towards unity, i.e., everything is one, As it gets nearer and nearer to that point of understanding, then it must gain more access to more incarnations. So in part, this gives you soul groups. It does not mean that's all one soul. It could be a bunch, all deciding to help each other. But eventually that soul group will become a bigger group, and then bigger groups will merge, etc. So if you think also about maybe what has been described to you about layers within spirit world, if you think of the lowest level soul thinks individual. It's all about me, me, how it affects me, what will I get, etc. Think about the evolution, or how you would describe a more evolved being, and they would think, what can I share? Let me give this to you for your benefit. And think then about a more evolved still. And here, it has gone from what I can get to what I can share, to what I can give, forgive me, to then everything as it is. I give to you in reflection of me. Now you may find within those words some consistency with other teachings. Now also think of this in terms of love. When love is at its very basic form, when there is an individual or a soul on its most, let us say, less interested about anybody else part of life, then they collect and do things for their own love. Again, it is very conditional. I'll only love you as long as you love me back. And then think of the most evolved person you can think of. Now their love is not one about what I get, but it's how much can I give? It is not with the intention of receiving at all. Somewhere in the middle between the two, there is this belief of I will give to you, knowing that it will come back to me. So if you think of love then, and see the evolution of love through the layers, and you can see the highest evolved person is just a transmitter of love. Also, that higher evolved person is multiple people. And that higher evolved person is a truer expression of the love that is there. You can see we go from individuality to universality, from one to many. The degree of love that you feel is a representation of your journey. It is written that journeys are often along 3 different paths. And all of those paths lead to the release of what is inside of you. The opening, the giving without expectation. It's a topic that we could continue for many, many minutes, if not many days. I hope this has been logical to you, because we will address this again in this talk a little. Is there one more question?
Yes, thank you for that, Joy. Michelle, you have a question?
Yes. Hi, Ignatius. I got a question. If we came from the place of love or God, where have we kind of lost our way or distanced ourselves from God? Like, how was that started? And I understand the process of carnation and this to develop to that point, but where do we initially lose our self or our face from God in the beginning, if we came from there?
The word God for some people can be prickly. Would you mind if I change that word to creator?
Yes, that's fine. I was just using that as a word.
I understand. My dear, you can never be apart from your creator. There is no separation. You think that I have lost it. You think that God is in the corner and I am in another corner, or you are on earth and God is in the clouds. The point of all of this is to prove to you that is still who you are is that God that you think you wish to chase. Again, if we come back to that love analogy, all of this love is revealing what is your innate nature. It is not losing God and then finding God. It is revealing God that already exists within you. As the soul thinks it is separate, so do individuals, but the truth is it is spirit. It just hasn't realized that yet. It is the same with you, my dear. You just have not realized that you are the creator. I will address that in a talk next week a little. So the point of all the work, the point of this evolvement, the point of the exercises that have been given and the talks that have been given in this series of talks has not been go read a book, go find out about this movie, go explore by living in a cave. All of them have been about revealing what is already within you. We are trying to separate or strip away the levels to reveal you, reveal your essence, if you wish to reveal the purity of love. So you cannot be separate, but you can feel as if you are separate. Let me explain a little further. The soul decides on what experiences it wants. It wants to experience, let us say, compassion, and let us say peace or anger. It wants to experience in many different ways because the soul is chasing an experience to find itself. The evolved soul realizes the experience doesn't matter. It is the experiencer that matters. So the soul in creating its experience creates the world, creates the circumstance that you wish to enjoy. So tell me that is not the creator. Of course it is. So the creation of everything that exists. So of course the creator then, this creator creates individuality. It creates a me and a you, an us and a them, a here and a there. It has to have separation in order to experience. So how can you experience anger if you have nothing to be angry against? So it needs individuality. You need your ego. So in helping another, you help yourself. This is the dawning of reality. So then, of course, as you begin to strip away all the need for these experiences, the need for learning, the need for knowledge, the need for evolution, all you are doing is revealing what is already within you. And this is why often it is said the journey is internal, the journey is within. And it would be interesting if I said to a group such as this, the journey is within. I would say half of you would then go buy a book or take a course. Now they have relevance in terms of support. But the internal journey is what will take you to your creator. So in essence, you cannot lose your creator, but you may choose to have experiences in order to find your creator. This will give you individuality. You see, some people express their individuality in different ways. But those that find their commonality find that they express it through their heart and minds in ways to prove to others this exists. This is often done through words, through artwork of different descriptions, but through dance, through chanting, through devotion. What is true dance if it is not done with devotion? And that could be devotion to dancing or an expression of me. Those who do it release themselves. And in releasing themselves, they lose themselves. And then there is no player of music, there is just music happening. And the person feels like they do not exist anymore. This is also true with mediumship. When the best mediumship happens, there is no medium. The words are just flowing. There is no mind to say, I will figure this out. The words come and they go. If you are observant about yourself, when this is happening, there is little awareness. You know the words are being spoken, but you don't know where from. They just seem to come out of the mouth. Is this what is being demonstrated right now? An example of the same thing? Of course it is. The words are flowing through this medium's mouth. The medium is not aware. So it is often said, release, let go. Let your inner nature shine. Trust what is there. And again, I will touch on this a little next week. I guess, Michelle, you asked for a shorter answer, but please forgive me. It seems
Perfect.
rather relevant to explain. So alas, our time for questions are over, and I need to pass you to another to take you further into the journey of realizing yourself. I will turn at the end just to conclude and talk about next week. But if you're not careful, I will take up all of the time. So our third communicator will do the education today. It has been discussed over many weeks that there is different aspects to the veil that can be in your way between your physical self and your spiritual self. And we have spoken that this can be divided into 5 different veils. Of course, in essence, they are one, and just different false aspects that you think is in your way. So each of them has taken you further inwards. It has taken you from the most dense to the most subtle, from the exterior material world, the body, the mind, the heart. And now we have the 5th aspect. And that is the feeling of bliss. For many that follow the path of the awakening, it is believed that the state of bliss is the end, the state of pure love, the state of joy, the state of peace. Here all truth comes to the being. You will all have experienced this. It is the times when you look into a child's eye and lose yourself. It is a time where you see a sunset and it brings a tear to your eye. It can be felt at times when you read books, play music, and you seem to be ecstatic and lose yourself. It is a feeling that everything is okay. Nothing need change. It is often said that this is an immense spiritual experience. but it is an experience we must still go past. This state of bliss represents your bliss level within your aura. It is often said that this is Anandamaya Kosha. Ananda means bliss. And you'll often see that word within many yogis, within their name. This layer is often described as your higher self, the layer of bliss, a layer where you know much, you experience much, you would change little. Just to get to this level, for many people, it is the peak of their evolution, their spiritual evolution. But there is a step beyond. And that step beyond is the greatest of all qualities. Here there is no experience required, even of love. And this is also available to you. And it is one of the 5 words which have been given. This level beyond is the level of awareness, of consciousness, of all-knowing. It is in essence still one of the qualities of the Creator. Now, if you think of the 5 exercises, each one has been pointing you back to awareness. Be aware as you walk through a door, as you sit down. Be aware of the way you talk and communicate. Be aware of the feeling of love and bliss. Here we are interested in the act of observation, but we are not interested in the object, just the observing. It is the observing that is important. Can you tell me that you do not exist without awareness? The fact that you are listening to this communication shows you have awareness. The awareness is the Creator. So to get to this level of bliss, you have an exercise to try. And should you experience this, Notice there is something that is aware of this occurring. And today's exercise, which will take you to this level of bliss. And then it is your choice to go beyond. And it is very simple. So think of something, anything you like, that you in love to do. Let us say it is dance, it is music, it is paddling your feet in water. Do it with all of your heart just once. Surrender fully to playing music. Surrender fully to drawing a picture. Let that inner dance come out from its hidden place inside. And already you can see from what I have said that it is a place of joy. Let the love build in your heart while this is occurring. If you truly dance like no tomorrow, or true with the passion of your being, there is no concern for yesterday or tomorrow. And as you paint, draw, play music, dance, or paddle feet, notice there is awareness to what is happening. So your exercise is to do something you love with all of your heart. And let yourself fully surrender to that activity. It may take you 1-2 minutes, or may take you 1 or 2 hours. But be there fully for that experience. May peace be within your heart. There may be a feeling of depth when you fully surrender. There may be a feeling of contentment, carefree, freedom. If you do something you love, there will be no anger present. unless you choose to bring the anger to the situation. So next week, there will be more questions and answers. I hope that you will reflect on what has been said and surrender to something you love. Now, also next week, we will attempt to undertake this talk and allow our medium to be aware of it. It will be a juggling act for us, as we need to keep him out of the way and not be involved, but at the same time be able to listen. I'm sure we will not succeed 100% of the time. And next week, as I alluded to before, we will suggest some new ways that we can provide you with more and better teaching. This way is rather different, but the aim is for it to be much more effective. We will talk more about that next week. So I encourage you most sincerely to try the exercise. But of course, you have free will to do it or not. God bless you all. Until then, next week.
Mm.